Come take the tenner, doctor. Yes, I know the bill says 5, but it ain't as if you simply kept the little un alive. Man, you saved the mother's reason when you saved the baby's life. And it's thanks to you I haven't got a raving idiot for a wife. Now, let me tell you all the story then. If you think it's strange that I want to fee you extra, I'll take the blooming change. If your fee had said 100, I'm a poor man, Doc, and yet I'd have slaved until I'd squared it, and still been in your debt. Well, you see, the wife's got notions on a heap of things as ain't to be handled by a man who don't pretend to be a saint. So I mind the cultivation, smoke me pipe and make no stir, and religion and such points I lay entirely on to her. Well, she has it fixed within her that if children die afore they've been sprinkled by the parson, there's no show for evermore. They will be spared the pitchforks and the brimstone and the smoke, but they won't be allowed to mix up there with other little folk. So when I last began to pine and lost his cheery smile, and not a person to be had within 100 mile, though there is a chapel down at Bluegrass Creek, you know, the clergy's there on duty only thrice a year or so. So when I, yet unchristened mite, grew limp and thin and pale, it would have cut you to the heart to hear the mother wail about her unregenerate babe. And now if it might go, would have no chance with them as have their registers to show. And then she grew quite quiet and hadn't spoken for a week, when in come Brother Bill one day with news from Bluegrass Creek. Said he, I've seen a notice on the chapel railing tied. There's a service there this evening, can the youngster stand the ride? For we can't have parson here if it be true as I've heard say there's a dying man as want him almost 20 miles away. Then, before he could finish, the boy was out of bed with a shawl upon his body and a hood upon his head. Saddle up, the missus said. I did her bidding like a bird. Perhaps I thought it foolish, but I never said a word. For although I have a choice in what the kids eat, drink and wear, religion and such points I lays entirely on to her. We started on our 2-hour ride beneath the burning sun, with Aunt Sal and Bill as sureties to renounce the evil one, and a bottle in Sal's basket which was labelled Fine Old Tom, a gin, held the water that regeneration was to follow from. For Bluegrass Creek was dry, as Bill that very day had found, and not a drop of water to be had for miles around. So to make salvation certain for the baby's little soul, we'd filled the dead marine from the family water roll. Every 40 rods or so, Sal raised it to her head and took a snifter just enough to wet her lips, she said. And so as it happened that we reached the chapel door, there's only just enough with job and just a dribble more. The service had just started. We didn't like to carry in a bottle which was evident a character for gin. So we left it in the porch and, having done our level best, went to old to being miserable offenders with the rest. And nigh upon the finish, when the parson had been told that a lamb was waiting there to be admitted to the fold, remembering the needful, I get up and quietly slip to the door to see a swagman with the bottle to his lips. Such a strangeness came all on me, you might have then and there knocked me down so with a feather eye or tied me with a hair. I couldn't move or speak, and though I caught the beggar's eye with a wink, he turned the bottle bottom up and drank it dry. And then he flung it from him, being suddenly aware that the label on were merely a delusion and a snare. And the crash cut short the people in the middle of Amen. And all the congregation heard him holler, "Sold again!" So that christening was a failure. Every water flask was drained. Even the monkey in the vestry not a blessed drop contained. And Parson in a hurry was camped up upon his mare, leaving baby unregenerate and I and Mrs. in despair. That night the child grew worse, but all my thought was for the wife. I feared for more for a reason than for that wee spark of life. But you know the rest, how Providence contrived that very night that a doctor should come calling at our shanty for a light. Baby, oh, thank him, fine, thank you, he's been baptised, his name is Bill. It's weeks and weeks since Parson came and put him through the mill, and his mother's very vain about the subject of his weight and a regular cock-a-hoop about his spiritual state. So now you'll take the tenner. Oh, damn the blooming chains. If Billy died, but doctor, don't you think it's somewhat strange that them as keeps the gate would have refused to let him in because a fool mistook a drop of Adam's ale for gin?